So welcome back to the channel. I'm Chima, one half of the Secret Bros, and today it's a little bit of a different type of video. You see, a couple days ago, Dave Ramsey had an interview on Fox and had some interesting things to say about student debt cancellation that I just couldn't help but react to. I want to preface this by saying that I actually like Dave. You know, I subscribe to his YouTube channel. I enjoy his videos. I think he's generally entertaining, and I've even read some of his books, and I believe in some of his economic ideas, but this would not be one of them. And this would fall in line in some of the ideas that I just can't get behind. Well, let's just take a listen and you'll see what I mean. Maybe you'll even agree with me.
Well, to start with, we need to understand we got $1.7 trillion in student loan debt. $192 billion out of that, not so much. Let's do some ratios, folks. If we're going to do math, we probably ought to play math. Now, on top of that, when you dig into it, the whole idea that student loans being forgiven is going to stimulate the economy, that assumes that people were getting ready to pay them off this year and instead would use that same $40,000 that they were getting ready to pay off their student loan and stimulate the economy with it. Again, that's economic hogwash. It's smoke and mirrors. It's simply not going to happen.
Dave, you're the math guy. $40,000 ready to pay off student debt this year? How many people are really struggling with student debt actually have that in cash? That's just not realistic. In reality, if you eliminate student debt or alleviate a good chunk of it, you've now opened up people to not having to pay, in some instances, crippling amounts of money towards their debt every single month. Let's be real here. Where do you think this money is gonna go? Do you think millennials are just gonna be stuffing this money into their mattresses now that they don't have to pay as much money? No, I think they're gonna spend it. And look, I'm sure that there's gonna be some people who just, save more, but look at what we've went through this year and look at what we're still going through. Do you really think that the fortification of your savings account right now is a bad idea? I don't think so. But even beyond that, there are people who are paying $200 a month, $500. Some people are paying $1,000 or more towards their student debt. These are people who've been unable to purchase a vehicle because of this. They're unable to really participate in the economy at all. They've even pushed back things like getting married or starting a business, you name it. The effects of student debt may be more widespread than Dave is even realizing. That being said, there are some points that Dave makes that I can see where he's coming from, and I have thought about it myself, especially before the clip that I just played earlier. Particularly, after these debts are wiped away, what's going to happen? Are we just gonna allow more people to get into more debt? We kind of have to do something about the education system as a whole and how it's paid for. Let's think about it for a second. If you wipe away $10,000 or $50,000 of student debt, what's to stop the next generation from accruing just as much, if not more? Another argument that's made in the video, and I encourage you to watch the whole thing because it's pretty interesting, is that a lot of this money is just gonna go to the upper class, and it's gonna go to the top 20% earners of the country. And we're gonna spend $192 billion on the top 20% earners alone. Here is a problem with that logic. What about everyone else? Just imagine, let's just say hypothetically speaking, that that's the case. And that's how much money we're actually going to spend. That's a drop in the bucket compared to how much we've spent on things that really haven't benefited most Americans in this country at all. In fact, a lot of these things that we've spent a lot of money on benefit certain corporations or industries. Let's just be real here. In fact, there's pretty much a substantial list of where we've spent far more money on, but that's a topic for another video. If you're watching this and you're paying your student debt, what would you do differently now that you have more money available and now that you have less debt to worry about? Whatever it is, just let me know below the like button what your thoughts are. There are people whose lives have been pretty much destroyed because of student loan debt, and Dave himself acknowledges that.
Listen, there's some situations where folks are hurting, and this thing has it's gotten completely out of hand.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people's lives who have been destroyed by this program. Somebody needs some relief somewhere. I'm fine with that. But this has nothing to do with really helping people. This is a political gimme by progressives simply trying to buy votes.
So I'm sure he agrees that something has to be done. I'm just not entirely sure what his idea of debt relief really is, or what he thinks is the best way to tackle this problem at all. Also, there's another part of the video that I thought was very strange. It's Dave's answer regarding how much stimulus money is really appropriate. Just take a listen.
Well, I don't believe in a stimulus check, because if $600 or $1,400 changes your life, you were pretty much screwed already. You got other issues going on. You have a career problem, you have a debt problem, you have a relationship problem, you have a mental health problem, something else is going on if $600 changes your life. And that's not talking down to folks. I've been bankrupt, I've been broke, and I work with people every day who are hurting. I love people. I want people to be lifted up. But this is, again, it is just political rhetoric, and it's just throwing dollars out there. It's peeing on a forest fire. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I don't believe in stimulus checks, because if $1,600 or $1,400 was going to change your life, then you're pretty much screwed already. Those are some pretty harsh words. In fact, I think that there are some families that are struggling who would beg to differ, especially during a pandemic where there are millions of people whose lives have been uprooted and have been fundamentally changed. Any assistance at all would benefit those people. And the thing that's kind of strange is that this statement isn't the usual targeting argument that you hear when it comes to stimulus checks going to less people, that you see floating around. Mind you that they're using last year's tax returns for a lot of these calculations, but that's another topic. So if he was just like, maybe we need stimulus checks, but we need to target it more directly to those who have been impacted the most, that would be one thing. But no, it's just, I don't believe in it. I don't think anybody should get it. And I'm sorry, I just think that's wrong. I look at the stimulus check as a bailout for Americans. This country bails out companies and industries all the time. Bailing out Americans, whether it's student debt alleviation or stimulus checks, is not a crazy idea at all. Well, that about wraps up this video. I'm Chima, one half of the Secret Bros. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the like button. It really does help this channel out a lot. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.